welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning. We are visiting with Cynthia Volschlager and Desiree Hargrave, both from Malone University and the opera program, more specifically. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And, all right, the reason we are here is pretty special, isn't it? Cynthia, why don't you tell us a little bit about the program you're getting ready?
Currently, we are working on a piece composed by Dr. Jesse Ayers, and it is under the title Beneath Suspicion. And it is the story of a civil rights story about a freed slave who, Desiree, actually, tell us a little bit about it.
So I got to work really closely with Dr. Ayers on this project, as well as my colleague Jessica Crowell. And it's about two women who fought for the rights of others, but it specifically starts when Elizabeth, the other character, who is in her 30s, frees the slaves that her father had previously owned. And one of those slaves, her name was Mary Bowser. And she was a young woman in her 20s, and she decided that she was going to put herself back into slavery to spy in the Jefferson Davis home.
Let me stop you right there. She discovered at some point that she had some pretty great educational, intellectual abilities, didn't she?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Mary, why she would make such an amazing spy.
Well, she actually had a photographic memory. So she was able to look at something and memorize pages of information at once. And so obviously that came in very handy when she was relaying information. So that kind of made her the perfect candidate, not only because she was incredibly smart and an intellectual woman, but because she also was under the radar. Not even something that the people would even be looking at because of the color of her skin.
That's what's so amazing to me. I've read the book, and let me just say, if you have not read this book, go get this book right now and read it. It's called The Secrets of Mary Bowser. And basically, General Grant said she is how we won the Civil War, because she was able to be right there in the Southern White House, the Confederate White House, in the room dusting while everybody's talking about their plans, and then all she has to do is memorize those plans, draw them up again, tell all the information. She was just soaking it in like a sponge and relaying, almost like having a video recorder in the room, but ignoring it because they didn't assign personhood to this woman.
Exactly.
It is an amazing, amazing story. And so I just would love to know your thoughts in getting to know her better while researching this role.
Yeah. So when I was approached to look at this role when we premiered it, actually last semester in October, we went to the CFAMC conference and we performed it in Mississippi. So I had a couple of months to kind of really get to know the characters and really dig into not only the fact that this is a story, but these were real life women. So getting able to look into their stories, and I guess that I had to really put myself in those shoes. And because I am of a close age as Mary would have been at the time of the portrayal that Dr. Ayers chose to set it, it was really actually a almost coming of age for myself as well, to walk into this. Okay, this woman had to really put herself in danger and really step up as a African American woman to do what's right, even though it was completely scary. So
I can't imagine.
Right, exactly.
Once you've been given your freedom, for heaven's sakes, hightail it out of there.
Exactly.
Go somewhere safe and live your life. Get married, have a family, which she did do eventually.
She did.
But to say, okay, I'm willing to go back into slavery to do this.
Yes, and there's one line that Dr. Ayers wrote. He composed the libretto as well as the music, and he says, I know that freedom's got no sweetness lest it be used for something bigger than me. And I know my cause. I've got to help my people to freedom. So I think that kind of is really the focal point of seeing of Mary knowing her calling. So I think that was kind of something that was really, really an eye-opener for me to be able to explore. So.
Pretty smart gal as well, because we know very little about her. She covered her tracks immaculately.
Exactly.
Would have to. So much of this has been speculation and just taking what they did know. But what they know is enough to put together where you just go, wow. So, Desiree, you not only had to learn about Mary, but you really spent some time researching the whole thing, didn't you?
I did.
To really get into this part. Tell us, you put a lot of work into this.
I did. So I actually, I've always been very interested in that time of slavery and that kind of that part of our history as a country, because it's so ingrained in not only our culture, but my own specific family culture. And my parents have raised me to not forget where we've come from and to really hold on to your heritage. And so I've always been interested in those kinds of stories. And so I knew I needed to really immerse myself in those feelings, in that culture, in a real way. And I've always really connected to the media and how and like the arts. And so I chose to watch the series Roots. I watched the reboot on the History Channel, and I also watched the original version as well. And seeing it portrayed in such a real and raw way really allowed me to tap into something that I was able to visually connect when I was singing about, there's this one aria in the piece where she's talking about, my people have been dying for years, life sucked out of them day after day, month after month, year after year. And so when I was saying those words, I was able to actually attach them to a picture in my head. So I think that being able to see, Chicken George being pulled away from his family time and time again, and seeing how that all kept happening, you thought maybe this time they'd be able to stay together, and you continually saw families ripped apart. Unfortunately, that was kind of where I was able to pull a lot of my inspiration from. But I think that it made the performance all that more impactful.
I think that Roots and shows like Who Do You Think You Are is always so interesting to go back and find out what our personal story is. Do you have interest in finding out yours?
I do. I haven't been able to look too far into my my own personal history very far back, but that is definitely something that I have a very big interest in.
Very cool. And it sounds like your parents would be interested in that
Yes.
as well. Well, not only do you act and portray Mary, but you have to sing it as opera. Now,
Yes.
Oh, there's that as well. So Cynthia is here. Cynthia, how's she doing?
Oh, she's doing absolutely fantastic. I think one of the most poignant memories in beginning to prepare this for the conference was actually took place in studio class. And we were working on two arias that are in the middle of the piece when Desiree has to really bare her soul, pushing her to go farther and farther and farther into that place, into that hopeless almost place. Because she talks in the piece about how her mom was a slave and her mom was a slave. And as far as she looks back into her history as Mary, that there's no time when they weren't held down. And so for Desiree to see her go into that place, to go from this 21st century worldview to a time when that actually wasn't a possibility, was really moving for the entire class. And it was really brave, for her to go there.
Well, it's hard, isn't it, to kind of really dig that deep?
It is. And, as a young woman I'm in my junior year of college at Malone University. So college is already a time to explore who you are as a person.
Yes.
So I've already been on this journey of self-discovery, but allowing this piece into my life and being able to look back and see these inspirational women from all walks of life, and see how they can still impact us in the 21st century, and allowing me to look as a woman with so many opportunities and chances that wouldn't have been possible without them, I think was really, really important.
She's one of those people that when you read this book, you say, how in the world am I just learning about her now?
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, all of history could be different if it were not for her.
Yes.
It's true.
And it's a time for this story to be told, don't you think? Now, with the book, there are a lot of characters in the book.
Yes.
How many people are in the opera itself?
2.
So we're do we hear about some of the other people? Like you mentioned her mother, her father's tragic story. There's just...
They're referenced.
Okay.
They're referenced, but really this this piece is about 17 to 20 minutes long, and it's in the moment when Mary and Elizabeth decide that Mary is going to... that she comes up with the idea of how to help. The idea that she could be used in this way.
Is it portrayed as Mary's idea to do this or Elizabeth's idea? It's Mary's, isn't
It's
it?
actually,
Mary's.
yeah, they were kind of, it's set up and they're starting to just talk, and we've kind of, in our own blocking, made it to where they're just kind of sitting and knitting or doing, just things where it's just kind of normal. And those moments in your life where you kind of have those, stomach dropping kind of realizations, Mary has that in that just simple everyday moment. And that's kind of the glimpse we get to see in that 17 to 20 minutes of, oh, I really have to do this.
It's hatching the plan. That's what we're getting to see.
Yes.
It's got to be an amazing moment for you to kind of go through. I'm so impressed with all the complexity of that relationship between those two women, because you go from an owner
Yes.
and an enslaved woman
Yes.
to, I'm not going to say friends, but there is a friendship that develops. You tell me, what's your take on it?
There's, and Dr. Ayers kind of wrote this in, and as we talked with him, we really wanted to portray Elizabeth and Mary's relationship as one that, like you said, it's not necessarily that they were friends because of that
weirdness.
If we think about the
Elephant in the room.
yes, but she says, I've watched you grow from a baby these past 20 years.
Yeah.
So she's known Mary. So regardless of kind of where society is at, she cares for her. And so we chose to go the direction of more of a, not maybe motherly, but more towards that kind of relationship, and seeing her, she can tell when Mary is struggling with something, and that's kind of how she gets her to how Elizabeth gets her to open up about what's troubling Mary.
Almost a mentor, because
Yes.
she does see her potential, and she's the one who encourages her to go to school and
Yes.
get to Philadelphia and get a good education.
Exactly.
And it's quite remarkable. So, and I'm so glad that he's written this opera too.
Yes,
for
we are
others
too.
to hear this story. So, Cynthia, you have to have some talented people to be able to pull this off. Talk about your students.
Absolutely.
You know what? I just looked at the clock. Let's talk about those students after these words. We've got to take a short break. You're listening to Our Community.